Newsflash is brought to you by Franco Trading Enterprise. Still, fun papa fee.
This body brought to you by Franco Trading Enterprise, still fun Papa Pefi. A big thank you to Noala Kariali, who brought us the news, and Kweku Asante, who brought us fellow Ghanaians. And of course, fellow Ghanaians, we need to make sure that we are citizens and not spectators. It's time for us to delve into the newspapers. And so I'll start with the Daily Graphic newspaper. The Daily Graphic newspaper. My name is Roslyn Felly. We'll go to Franco Trading Enterprise for all our gadgets. I'll tell you more about that. But let me first do the newspaper. So the Daily Graphic newspaper. Ghana mourns Daddy Lumba. It's a sad day for Ghanaians, I must say. Actually started on Saturday. Ghanaians started mourning on Saturday. We are still mourning. Unfortunately, I'm not in black, but I'm mourning in my heart. And so today, we on Prime Morning, we at Joy Prime, we commiserate with the family of Daddy Lumba. May God give them strength at this difficult time. History beckons Ghana in EU flight license. Parliament ratifies 131 timber utilization contracts. IGP visits Asawasi after killings, orders thorough search of vehicles. Now, talking about that, this will be one of our conversations for this morning. COA responds to clinical trial publication. And for the banner headline, Army deploys forces in Bawku. Government evacuates students from Bawku and Nalurigu. Over the weekend, we heard that 2 students had been shot dead in Bawku due to the crisis that's happening. We'll be delving deeper into it as well. The security measures that government is proposing during this time, hoping to be able to restore peace in Bawku. We'll definitely delve into that conversation. And since you're part of that, don't forget to send your messages to us on 055 157 5757, 055 157 5757. Let me see if we have some stories in the center spread. Okay, so assessing the effectiveness of Ghana's Electoral Commission comparative analysis. You definitely find this in here as well. Reflect, review, and research. Another story in here, and it's by Ethel Kujo Emisa. Hidden cost of low morale on productivity. Another beautiful story that when you purchase the Daily Graphic newspaper, you ought to read. The Daily Graphic Sports news comes, and this is for AFCON. Black Queens making Ghana proud again, and they did get the bronze. So it says Black Queens stand South Africa to win bronze. Great one there. The next newspaper is the Today newspaper. Today newspaper. GN Bank properties left to rot. This is sad, you know. I'm just hoping that, you know, as we are hearing that other banks are getting their license back, so do we hear. So will we hear that GN Bank will also be restored to its previous state. Legendary Ghanaian musician Daddy Lumba passes on. Security at Ministerial Palace beefed up after Asawasi shootings, and WAFCON 2024 is in there. Black Queens win bronze after victory over South Africa in penalty shootout. I must say that we are all so proud of the Black Queens. The next newspaper is the Economy Times newspaper. The Economy Times. Government to step up public spending in second half of 2025, but total expenditure for the year cut. Education sector is biggest beneficiary of Mahama's first 6 months in office. Islamic banking, a catalyst for Mahama's big push and Feed Ghana initiatives. This coming from Professor Cr1sis, and that will be all for the Economy Times newspaper. The next newspaper is the Ghanaian Publisher newspaper. The Ghanaian Publisher. Afenyo Markin remains in ECOWAS as third deputy speaker. Bawku SHS closed. The government deploys a military. NLA Boss wins top leadership award, and 500 in Sawam drivers receive free license from a member of parliament. I bet this could make him retain that seat in 2028. The Chronicle newspaper happens to be our final newspaper. Attempt to oust Osahin from ECOWAS Parliament fails. Yohunu's 132-day crusade. Cross-border crimes tamed. Promises to replicate the strategy used in Asin North in Akwatia as well. Okay. Strategy. Which strategy was that? IGP. I'm just asking an innocent question though. Which strategy was used in Ascent North? Okay, all right. Okay, so let's do the Bible quote here. I won't ask the questions. Definitely, when we get to Akwetia, we are hoping to see better security measures during the elections. And there's a Bible verse. It's coming from Luke chapter 12, verse 48. Luke chapter 12, verse 48. Everyone to whom much is given, of him much will be required. And from him to whom they entrusted much, they will demand them more. We are demanding more and will continue to demand more. That will be it for the Chronicle newspaper. And so if you just tune in, you are still watching Prime Morning, and this segment is proudly brought to you by Franco Trading Enterprise, still and still phone papa fee. Now, talking about that, in recent times, there's been so much happening in terms of peace, especially in Bawku. Today, we want to delve deeper into what is happening in Bawku. What can we do to curb this? This has been ongoing for a long time now. I must say, government after government, sometimes it turns political, sometimes it turns into other things. And so today we are delving deeper into it. So there is an imposition of curfew on Nalarugu. Let me stand up and read this for those of you who don't know what is actually happening in terms of Bawku. Now, talking about that, 2 students lost their lives over the weekend. And so out of that, there's imposition of curfew on Nalarugu Township and its environs in the Northeast region. Now, the Minister for the Interior, on the advice of the Northeast Regional Security Council and by executive instrument, has imposed curfew hours on Nalarugu Township and its environs in the Northeast region from 2 p.m. to 6 a.m. effective Sunday, July 27, 2025, until further notice. Now, like I said, this is coming at the back of the killing of these 2 innocent souls. Now, government calls on the chiefs, elders, opinion leaders, youth and people of the area to exercise restraints in the face of the challenges confronting them, as well as to use non-violent means to channel their energies into ensuring peace. Meanwhile, there is a total ban on all persons in the Nalarugu Township and its environs from carrying arms, ammunition, or any offensive weapons, and any persons found with any arms or ammunition will be arrested and prosecuted. Great. I want to strongly believe that the arms carrying had been banned long before. This is not the time they are banning the arms, because when we heard of Bawku conflict, not today. Like, somebody will say, it no be today. So are we now hearing of the banning of the arms? Or it has been banned in the past, but it's been enforced. Now, government yesterday issued a statement to let Ghanaians know, and to also let the people of Bawku know, that this time round, it is not going to be, peacekeeping, but it says a peace enforcement. This is what the government says. It says, the government of Ghana is stepping up its approach from peacekeeping to peace enforcement in Bawku and other affected areas due to the recent escalation of violence, which could derail the peace-building process. The Ghana Armed Forces have been deployed to maintain law and order. As we intensify curfews to ensure public safety, we assure the public that the Ghana Armed Forces will take all necessary measures to protect lives and properties. Government commends His Majesty Otumfuo Osei Tutu II for mediating the conflict and appreciate all stakeholders who are supporting the peace process. The Otumfuo mediation with the genuine help of Nairi and Zugrana had almost brought finality to the conflict until the very recent killing, which have necessitated drastic actions to protect all in the interest of the greater good. Government urges all parties to refrain from violence and support the peace process. Residents are advised to fully cooperate with the Ghana Armed Forces to ensure peace. While regretting the inconvenience this peace enforcement intervention may cause to peace-loving people within the affected areas, the government of Ghana remains committed to restoring peace and stability in Bawku and other affected areas and has taken every necessary measure to ensure the safety and security of all residents, including students. And this is signed by Felix Cr1sis, Member of Parliament and also spokesperson to the President, Minister of Government Communications. And so this is what is happening with regards to government fighting this whole menace in Bawku. Crisis in Bawku ought to be stopped. Peace must prevail in Bawku. Now, talking about that, CLOSAG also brought out a statement and given an 8-pointer to government that this could also help bring peace in Bawku. We'll be speaking with them, and also we'll be speaking with people who know more about what peace means in environment. And so today you ought to stay glued to your television set for that and even many more. Then we take a look at Asawasi, where the Kusasi chief was shot dead. Now, talking about that, yesterday, again, we heard from the Dr. Frank Amwakohene, who is Ashanti Regional Minister, issuing a statement also saying that there is curfew. Now, this is what he said. No motorbike operation is permitted on the road between 7 p.m. and 6 a.m. So from 7 p.m. to 6 a.m., there shouldn't be any motorbike that should operate. Also, motorbike riders are not allowed to carry passengers or additional persons during permissible hours. Now, if you don't understand this, all it's trying to say is that if you are riding a motorbike, you can't have a passenger. So it's not like, oh, from 6 p.m. I can't have a passenger. No. From the time that you have to ride, you can't have a passenger. Now, once it's 7 p.m., you cannot ride. You park your motorbike. The third one is motorbike riders are prohibited from wearing attire that can conceal weapons, including smokes, bulky jackets, or three-piece outfit. And so you can't do three-piece outfit. You can do a cardigan, and then you wear a T-shirt and then a jeans. No, because you will be able to conceal a weapon. Number 4, the use of unregistered or unlicensed motorbike is strictly prohibited. 5, commuters are not allowed to carry any weapons, whether licensed or unlicensed, in cars, or on motorbikes until further notice. And the 6th one is there is heightened police and military visibility, including barriers and random stop and search checkpoints. The public is urged to cooperate fully with security personnel as these measures are for our collective safety. And so all we are talking about here this morning is that safety must prevail, peace must prevail. And if you live in any of these environs, you understand why this is very needed. I've been joined by Francis Ahovi, who is Executive Secretary for Global Security for Africa and Research and Good. Sorry, let me help you. Let me mention again. Francis Ahovi, Executive Secretary, Global Security for Africa, Research and Good Governance. That is GLOSAG. Good morning, Francis.
Good morning, madam.
How are you?
I'm doing terrific.
It's good to have you here.
It's good to have you too.
Great. And thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
And we like what your 8-pointer that you have released to government in order to bring peace to Bawku. We'll be delving into it. But we're also being joined by Austin Game, who is an alternative dispute resolution expert. He's joining us on Zoom. Austin, are you on? Hi, Austin. Good morning. All right, so we'll definitely go back. And then Dr. Victor Doke will also be joining us. He's a security analyst. He will also be joining us for us to talk about the peace that we need in Bawku. Bawku crisis. I don't even want to say Bawku crisis. I want to say peace we need, because the more we keep speaking peace on Bawku, peace will definitely prevail in Bawku. And the more we keep on saying crisis, the crisis will stay. So we preach peace. So peace in Bawku. Now, Francis, things have happened in Bawku over the weekend. Your take on it before we even delve into your 8-pointer.
Yeah, thank you very much for the opportunity. I would say that the situation at Bawku is becoming highly precarious. and it's a national concern. It's becoming a threat to the whole nation because a lot of efforts have been put into Bawku conflict for a while now, but it seems that all that we are doing is becoming to nothing. So whoever will think that this Bawku issue should not be taken seriously, I think the person is not being saying the truth. So Bawku issue is so pathetic. You could see that. What actually the problem is that you could see that there are a lot of innocent people in and around Bawku, and when this battle is going on, that's between the fascists, you could see that most of the times people who are innocent, people who do not even have any say, they are normally the victim. So the earlier we use strategic measures to bring this Bawku issue to an end, I think the better it will be for our nation.
Now, talking about the strategies, you have 8 points. You have to establish a multi-stakeholder conflict resolution task force that's deploy a specialized community-based intelligence team, establish a multi-stakeholder conflict resolution task force. Sorry, I've gone back. Sorry. Deploy civic and peace education campaigns, activate a conflict early warning and early response mechanism, institutionalize dialogue-based leadership succession, and also monitoring and evaluation of peace agreement. How did you arrive at these 3 points? 8 points, sorry.
Yeah, thank you very much. I will say that I started monitoring this Bawku issue not today, and I think that we keep on using the traditional method, or what I now term as archaic or outmoded, because we are in a modern era where I think we need to use strategy that's par with the modern strategy, because even people who are perpetrating these crimes, they are also very intelligent in terms of crime committing. So you cannot base on the old thing. For instance, we normally use this military most often. I am not disputing that using military is fine, but thinking that imposing curfew, constantly curfew on the people could solve the issue, I am not too sure. I'm not too sure that that alone can do it. Because when you bring the people, the military, to actually maybe...
So it's not that you are saying we should cancel curfew?
No, we shouldn't cancel. It's part of what you just read, yes. But I think that it should be looked at in the form of, it should be temporary measure. But I think that it keeps on recurring, that now and then they say military should go, now and then military should go. As we are talking currently, I think the military has been given a task to also go. Yes, which is not bad. But I think, first of all, the people themselves should be educated. They should be sensitized. Then how are we going to do that? Then that's where I come to, we said that we have to establish the multi-stakeholder conflict resolution for a task force. So who are the people who are going to be in this task force? We are looking at Peace Council at the first, and we are also looking at the chiefs and the community leader. Especially, we should not do away with the youth.
Okay, I'll come back to you. Let me acknowledge my people on Zoom, and then you can delve deeper into it. Then I can even ask them some questions on your 8 points. So I have Dr. Victor Doke. Good morning, Doc.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm good. How are you too?
I'm good.
Great, and thank you so much for joining us. Thank you. I'll definitely be coming to you for us to have a conversation. And so thank you. I'll just put you on hold and I'll come back to you.
Right.
All right. And we also have Austin Gamet. Good morning, Austin. Okay, we'll definitely be going back to get Austin as well. So yes, you were making your 8-pointer. You started with the first one?
Yes. So the first one, I said that we need to establish a multi-stakeholder conflict resolution task force. So the composition of this task force, I'm saying that first of all, we need the Peace Council there. We know that their job is to, first of all, to identify the early warning signs and also to prevent conflict or manage conflicts. Then we also need the chiefs in this task force. We also need the youth. As I'm saying, the youth are very cardinal in this, because most of the times I think we normally think for the youth, but whatever is happening, we could see that the majority of the people involved in this are the youths. So when we are trying to solve this conflict or resolve the conflict, I think they should not be neglected. So the youth leaders are very important in this. We also have to look at our civil society organizations. They are also very important. Those who have the competence, the skill, they are professional enough in handling conflicts. We have to also involve them. And our religious body, they are very important. Our pastors, most of them, they also know about conflict resolution. These people are very important so that what they are going to do, their mandate is actually to mediate. What's the issue? Is it chieftaincy issue? Is it a land issue? Whatever the problem is, they have to mediate in such a way that there should be consensus building. Because at the end of it, we know two people fighting, one may start the fight, but at the end of it, as a people, I think that we ever fight or there will be quarrel. But what is important is to be able to settle our disputes. So there should be consensus building. There should be give and take. It shouldn't be that me, I am at a strange position. Whatever I'm saying is the case. I'm supposed to be the chief. This land belongs to me at all costs. Whatever people say, whatever people do, I will not give in. No, that should not be the way. So that's the important thing they have to do, mediating. So the second thing we are looking at is to deploy a specialized community-based intelligence team. So over here, I think that we need people who are from the community themselves, and these people should be trained, well trained. If I want to expand this, GLOSAG is thinking that I mentioned the youth, I mentioned whoever, these people should be the volunteers, they should be given the opportunity they have to be trained in identifying early warning signs. Because we actually need people. Because before it rains, what happened? We see the cloud. The cloud, we see that the way the cloud is forming at this side, it's likely that today there will be rain. The same way conflict comes. So there's no conflict without any sign. So there should be people who are well trained to identify these signs. And if these signs are identified, how are they going to communicate these things? They have to also have a means of how to communicate. So today I say that we are in a modern era. We have our WhatsApp platforms. We can share our information through those places. We can also, for instance, if they have, how do you call it, they come across any information, they can send.
So for you, yours is more of a dialogue, right?
Exactly.
It's a dialogue, sitting with the people, involving everybody. Don't take anybody out. Don't bring just the security aspect of it, but make sure that you bring love amongst the people.
Exactly.
Okay, let me go on Zoom and speak with Victor then. Hi, Victor.
Can you hear me?
Yes, now I can hear you. Now, Victor, two young boys were killed over the weekend in Bawku. The target of the youth in Bawku makes it quite worrying. And coming from Francis, he's saying that during this peace talk, they should involve the youth. What do you think about it?
Right. Thank you. Good morning to Mr. Ahovi. He's not far from right. It is very, very essential that you involve the youth. Now, tied to the youth is what I would want to address with this 8-pointer. First of all, before I get to the youth, because there's one entity, agency, or committee on the traditional committee level that is tied with the youth. Now, let's take his 8-pointer first off. Number one, establishment of the task force led by the NPC. So what is on the ground per the local or traditional entity is the Bawku Ethnic Peace Committee. This committee is a 20-member plus committee made up of representatives of all the ethnic groups in Bawku. Okay, Moshis, Hausas, Dagombes, Kusasi, Mampusi. And then the committee has a peace-building facilitator, which is known as the Berlin Musa Development Agency, an NGO in that area, who is the lead peace-building facilitator for the committee. What does the committee do? Now, because of the conflict, it is believed that when the committee was established, these people know their dynamics, they know what they want, and they will be able to facilitate dialogue to address petty issues that will arise from the conflict itself. For example, issues about farmland, issues about theft, criminality, and whatnot. Now, tied to that, they came up with a system which is tied to early warning system known as the alert call system, where Mr. Hobby spoke about phone. So they use a phone to call or communicate with each member in localities where there are what clashes or there are sporadic firing of what weapons to verify, to ascertain, and then those representatives there who are in the heat themselves will now what facilitate dialogue, calm the youth down. Now, Berlin Water Development Agency has been with these two sides since the what inception of the conflict. So this peace building facilitator is known to the what National Peace Council. And here the National Peace Council will act as a backstopper to the committee. Okay? So then you're talking about the monitoring and evaluation aspect where Mr. Hobby raised. Definitely the monitoring and evaluation aspect, which I would say is not being what implemented much from the NPC aspect, is a problem. It may be finances, it may be resources. Dialogue in its 8-pointer is being what? Ongoing. Now, the early warning systems are there, which I reiterated from the committee, and then the West Africa Network for Peace Building have a what? Early warning system named the Community Monitoring Team, where these are made of members spread across the community who pick up what signs of what imminent attacks, relay into the central point for the what? All stakeholders to what? Dialogue on the issue. Intelligence gathering is done there. The communities themselves have their own intelligence, trust me. The police, the military also have their own intelligence. So by and large, all these 8 points are being implemented there. The issue is just about sustaining them and then making it what? Very regular. Now, let me talk about the youth. When you mention the youth, the committee has a representation of the youth. So they make sure that those who are representing the various ethnic groups are made up of what? Youth mainly, because they are the ones engaging in the armed confrontation. They know what is at stake. These are the young guys who would sell anything, including their bull, farm, produces to get weapons, all in the name of self-defense. The youth are much more involved. When you talk about any facilitation that comes in peace building, the use of the media, it is targeted mainly at the youth. So when WANEP and then Berlin Water Development Agency are undertaking sensitization with regards to peace building, they target the youth most often before even including the women aspect of it, because we don't talk about the women aspect. And then they should look at the civil society organizations. It is unfortunate these things are happening, but I would say these killings are more of a targeted killing, so that when this happens, then people's minds now will come to the fact that they are killing our people, so we must rise. Is it because I'm suspecting that there are decisions that will come out from the 2-4 committee, mediating committee, and people may not like it, so they want to avert attention and cause these criminal acts so that the armed confrontation would now escalate. I think this is what we need to look at. So now it's all about self-protection. That's what I'll put it for any individual living in Bawku or outside Bawku.
All right, Austin has also joined us. Good morning, Austin. Hello, Austin.
Yes, good morning.
Fantastic.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm good. How are you too?
Amazing grace.
Great. We thank God. And Austin is an alternative dispute resolution expert. Now, listening to what Victor just said, saying that it could be a target thing, taking a look at these young ones that lost their lives over the weekend. Now, government is saying it's no more peacekeeping, but peace enforcement. Is that the right way to go?
Well, to be very honest with you, because of the ongoing mediation process that is being led by Nana Otunfuo, by the eminent panel of mediators, I am unable to speak thoroughly to the issue. That notwithstanding, and so I should be clearly understood that way. But as a mediator, let me put it bluntly this way. It's actually the most civilized way of resolving any complex or simple matter that will have a lasting impression on the minds of the people who are the disputants. And so mediation would normally not fail and has never failed before. It is the parties that may not accept to have the matter resolved and would want to go to the next level, if you like, arbitration. But in this circumstance, I am a little bit troubled whether the real process is have been fully triggered. That's just about. I cautioned earlier that normally when it's unethical, when a mediation process is ongoing by a body that would be talking about it, but this is a bit different. So let me put it this way. If it is really true that the parties voluntarily agreed to participate in the mediation process, and the cardinal guide that would trigger the process and a consent to mediation have been accepted by the parties, then normally with the preparation, with the uncovering, with the learning of why it is important for them to be there, and the right people who are to participate in the decision-making process. That is to say, who are the people who represent the owners of this particular conflict, because the conflict has owners, and the owners must send their representatives that they have confidence in, that at the end of the day, when a decision is made, it will be fully accepted. Now, this is not a mediation. We don't do it publicly. It's a process that is done by the parties themselves behind, the four walls, and not a public frenzy kind of publicity on it. So I really want to say that I am troubled that this matter that is supposed to be in mediation is still bringing out, cutthroat type of approach. So I want to say that whereas I have absolute confidence in the Nana Otunfo panel-led mediation, perhaps we must agree as a people to strengthen them further by giving them additional hands. I know we have people in the country who know what to do, but I don't know whether we should now be talking at this stage when the mediation, the most civilized way of resolving matter, have been triggered, and we still have to be enforcing. It means that people did not fully agree for the mediation. It means they didn't fully agree. And if they truly agree, then it should not trigger this kind of attack on one another, or the people who are representing them at the mediation are incomplete. I heard my brother there talking about the youth, the women, the people who were sent there by the factions are the people they have confidence and trust in to be giving them a feedback so that they can be part of the process. Mediation is a process, and normally it should not take more than, because of maybe translation of language, assuming I am handling this mediation process, and it shouldn't take more than 2, 3 sittings. It should be over.
It should be.
They have signed a consent to mediate, and so normally it shouldn't be so, and we shouldn't use just any form of mediation. This is a very volatile issue, and so it has to be handled by real expert mediators, which I think none of them haven't had experience of the previous problem in Dagbon, had tremendous experience in it also. And so I do not know the reason why this matter should be so protracted this way. Indeed, even the Dagbon issue was even more protracted than even this one. So I don't see the reason why it should be lasting this length, and also whether the people have agreed really to have the mediation or they are being forced into mediation. Mediation is a consensual thing.
Right. Now, Austin, the mediation is ongoing. However, this has happened. And in light of that, the government is now saying that it's going to be peace enforcement. That's why I asked that question. Mediation started a long time ago. We should have seen results as of now. 2 young persons lost their lives, innocent people. They were sleeping in their dormitory. They were shot dead. Now, government says, effective this day, we are having curfew from 2 p.m. all the way to 7 a.m. the next day. We are going to have more military deployment in that area. Could that be the beginning of us seeing peace in Bawku?
Well, peace enforcement by the means we are talking about is not a solution. It's just to prevent, if possible, further such killings. But I think that the way forward is to trigger the mediation again. If it's not being triggered, if it's not being done, if it's not being, the meetings are not being called, then the mediators should be seen to be working a lot more harder than the way they've done so far.
All right, Austin.
And let's be very open to it.
Okay.
I think that soldiers going there is good, but it's not a solution. It's just to deter somebody from being frontally aggressive. You have to dodge to do something, to do some harm. But I want to suggest that the parties who have agreed, if truly they have agreed to go for the mediation process, I appeal to them, they should go there with a full honor of being representative of the people, and go there and be honest to the panel of mediators and open up and give feedback to their people. And as quickly as some 2 sittings, 3 sittings, this matter should be fully resolved. And some of us are open. If we are invited to assist the 2-4 committee, we will do that.
Okay, thank you so much. I'll come back to you. Let me go to Victor and ask Victor this. For those who might not know what is happening in Bawku recently, I just want to find out on their behalf, has violence in Bawku increased over the last 6 months?
Yes, very much so. You're talking about violence as targeted killings, destruction of properties, as we got to know about the MP's, abode. And now you're not talking only about violence in those areas, but a spillover in what? Key towns such as Asawase. Now, let's not forget Ashaman is also there, which consists of the inhabitants of these 2 ethnic groups, Abubushi, and some parts in Tema. I think in as much as we are beefing up security and, putting up snap checks and all of that, we should consider these areas too. Because if we don't and something happens, we will just be applying the fire brigade approach, which will not serve its purpose. So yes, the violence has increased, and it may increase per the recommendations of the 2-4 mediation, the conclusion and the report. So I'm suspecting it's one of the ways that apart from what has happened recently, the military or the security intelligence has picked up an information with regards to that. And that's why they are beefing up the security in Bawku especially.
Now, again, I just want to find out on their behalf, when we talk about the security being there, this is not the first time security is in Bawku. Security has been there for a while now. Government says we are increasing it. But do you think there could be a risk of lack of mistrust between the security personnel and some local communities there?
There's mistrust. That one you cannot take away from it. Incidents that have happened, i.e. some few months ago, where one faction accused the security agencies of escorting another faction to the marketplace. And their argument was that because issues on ground has not been resolved or addressed, there was no need for the security agency to escort them. And that also sparked somewhat clashes. Now, activities of security agencies against one faction has been termed as the youth being targeted and then being killed. There's a mistrust. Recently, we got to know about the destruction of the statue of the Zugra in the Bokunaba. That also has some level of mistrust from the people to the security agencies who are supposed to be there to enforce curfews and enhance peace by their activities there. So by and large, there's mistrust. Now, going forward, how do they ensure that the people will not accuse them, and then for us, we also not to see them as swaying off their mandate and then be neutral? I think in as much as possible, they should stay away from anything related to chieftaincy, any issue related to one faction, so it will not be seen as supporting one faction. Other than that, it would be very difficult to enforce to the, by and large, the recommendations that will come out from the Otunfo report. So I think, by and large, what needs to be done is they stick into their mandate of protection, providing security, picking up intelligence, conducting search and rescue search on weapons and whatnot.
All right. I'll come back into the studio and ask Francis about you saying that there should be a specialized community-based intelligence team. Now, this is also supposed to help bring peace there. The security, what do we need the specialized community-based intelligence team for?
Yes, but first of all, whilst acknowledging my lecturer doctor, and I think I will agree more with Mr. Gami. Yes, in a conflict resolution, people who are leading, are they credible enough not to undermine anybody? Are they the people who qualify actually to do that? Or is just a group of people from the political setting? We should know that as soon as a politics set into conflict resolution, it becomes a protracted one, because this party will not want the thing to be resolved, because when it is resolved, then they will say the appreciation will go to party A. So the same people will come to the fore and they will preach all sermons to us about conflict, but they are the same shadow actors who will go to mar issues. We ask, first of all, how do the people who we think look hungry, how do they get those sophisticated ammunitions? How do they get those guns? So those are some of the things that actually making the thing more complicated than we think. Now, Mr. Gami asked, are the people willing? So I think that we should not just leave the people like that. Yeah, we may think that they are grown, they have seen devastation, no development in the community. No, we have to really look at what we are calling from GRUSAC, trying to inculcate or to expand their curriculum starting from our school children, because they have to integrate what we call peace building education, whereby from the one they should know things about conflict and their effects. So we should not be doing the same thing that is happening in Accra, though we know we have a holistic curriculum, but because that area is prone to danger or these crimes, we have to inculcate that. So as we go to school, even if it will not be full, let's say how those days we go to mission school, maybe the first 30 minutes they will teach you the catechism, they will teach you those things. Those things should also be done constantly. The people should know that these are the cons and the pros and cons of conflict. If they understand that because of this conflict, we will not be supporting any chief or any politician whilst that politician or those chiefs, perhaps they have their wars outside this country or in the better cities and better institutions. So if the people understand, that means sensitization and education. It might be constant. We must invest into that. Most of the times we don't do that. We just do it once in a while. No, it's supposed to be something constant that we must follow. So if we understand that all that we are going through, all that we are doing to ourselves, killing ourselves, cannot solve the issue. We always say that no matter how serious the issue is, it's this math. People say that the pen is mightier than the sword. So if that means it's better to use dialogue than to be using stones, cutlass, anything that can harm the body. So that's very important. We need to sensitize.
We need to start from the classrooms.
From the classrooms. It's supposed to be part of it so that we know the importance. For instance, if you listen to His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, it seems that he's becoming fed up. It seems that he's a bit tired of, and he's becoming annoyed. I mean, that's what I read.
When you see him?
Yes.
His posture. You're talking about his posture.
Exactly.
To this Bawku crisis.
Yes, because we are investing a lot. Not only this government, successive government invest a lot. But we should not just take it like that people of Bawku are not, or they are posing problem. No. Even if you start from that angle, they will also be in antagonistic angle. So we need.
Have you presented your 8 points to government?
Not really, but I did it on so many media. But as you asked, I think we are considering that actually I'm considering the Minister of Interior. Okay. Yeah, to the same government to so that we see what can happen. So that is it. Now you ask the question: why should it be community based? You know, all those things that are happening. We call something from Glossa PCF, Police and Community Forum. Police and Community Forum. It means that all those crimes that are happening, the people who are perpetrating that, though we might have external people, but majority of the people are from the community. So one, it's my husband, it's my wife, it's my uncle, it's my... So if the community is really involved, you could see that if Francis is one of those actors perpetrating that harm in the community, my wife, because she understands the harm that I'm causing, will not try to shield it, will expose me irrespective of what. So how can my wife expose me if I'm the one who is buying guns for people, if I'm the one who is hiding the guns somewhere? That means that there should be that trust between the police and the community.
All right. Thank you so much, Francis. Let me speak with Victor. Victor, as it stands now, what is the way forward? What do you suggest is the way forward as a security analyst?
Number one, we all agree that curfews are not entirely the solution or addressing the problem. It's just one way of ensuring that the two factions do not clash, and then also to curb these targeted killing, because curfews are part of a direct prevention method, which is aimed at imminent and near issues such as these fightings. Now, holistically, number one, the politics has really done that good. We should depoliticize the Bawku conflict entirely. And why do I say so? Now, where you have opposition come in and blame government because they are inactive, and where representatives of the government themselves, put out statements and accuse without facts, and then try to inflame passions. These things should be what done away with. Number two, let's stop the misinformation that is coming out of the camps. Okay, people trying to speak to their populace out there through the media, through social media, especially Facebook. It's all part of what the agenda to incite violence. It constitutes misinformation at some point because some of the informations that are put there are distorted. Each of the factions have their own narration of history, like who settled first, who became the chief first, and whatnot. And this ideology is still being aligned with each faction. We cannot take it away from them. This is what they are saying, that we became chiefs first before you became chiefs first, so we also must have 10. Now, the last aspect is looking at how we can stick to the roadmap with regards to what is being implemented now, the curfews, sustained engagement. Now, it is very difficult to even have sustained engagements in Bawku itself because of the curfew position, which is very, 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 very bad. How can we include the women in peace building? Elsewhere, the women have achieved a lot with regards to peace building. These are their husbands, these are their sons who are fighting, and they know how to talk to them. Holistic leaders can approach that with what include the women in the peace building aspect. Now, with regards to the mediation led by the Utumfo, I pray and hope that whatever the factions are going to say, as Mr. Game has already reiterated, now truthfulness. But then there will be some challenges because of the entrenched positions that have been taken by the two sides. So how does he navigate around that? And I also add my voice to Mr. Game. I think we've met on the platform before and we've spoken extensively about how we can have a technical working group committee set up with experts, okay, who are going to assist with regards to implementation of recommendations that will come out. Neutrality of the security agencies is very paramount. Anything done by the security agencies that is seen to be supporting one side will still inflame passions. They should remain neutral. They should be regularly reshuffled, because you're talking about being in an area where conflict is ongoing. You're hearing cacophonous shootings every now and then, which can affect your mental health. How do we also assist in building their mental health and capacity in that area? We should look at all those areas.
All right.
Two. All right, I'll end here. Thank you.
Oh, you were just finish your two first. Finish the two
so
first.
I'm talking about having when issues such as this, the core security heads should know, they should preempt, because they have men on the ground there. Intelligence gathering is very key. The early warning system is very key. So how can we invest more in the early warning system? We have neglected the aspects of these two CSOs that I've mentioned, one and then Builder. These are CSOs that have been with these people for a very long time. How can we bring them back and resource them? Resource the National Peace Council to also undertake its mandate, and then do what Mr. Ahovi mentioned, monitoring and evaluation, which have not been done for a very long time.
All right. Thank you so much, Dr. Victor Doke. We are grateful that you could join us.
Thank you for having me.
All right. And he's a security analyst. Let's speak with Mr. Austin Game. Mr. Game.
Yes, my assistant.
Alternative dispute resolution expert, what do you think is the way forward?
Well, I want to call it appropriate dispute resolution.
Appropriate dispute resolution, okay.
Yes. Is it really appropriate to do this particular mediation? Yes, is my answer. Let me give you an example. I was invited to Bayelsa State in Nigeria to help resolve a very protracted issue. I went there and I realized that it has to be some education first. So I got the people together, they agreed. We had very extensive 3-day session. After that, I was to return for the real mediation. I got there and, every conflict has owners. And the owners invited me privately and told me that the way I went about the training, it appears that this matter will be resolved within some 48 hours. And so they benefit from the conflict. And if I help them resolve the matter, lasting as it may be, they will not have resources to live on again. So I should not help them resolve the matter. That is one example.
Wow.
Keep it at the back of your mind. I was invited in one of the most protracted Greater Accra into a chieftaincy matter, which was it was muddied by the various rulings of up to Supreme Court level. Instead of 3 royal houses, it became 6 royal houses, and they all have legitimate documents. And yet, when we met at the pre-mediation meeting, when we were setting the cardinal guide that will help them resolve the matter, it became clear that this was an error on the part of the court. And the parties voluntarily, and that is for emphasis, because mediation is done voluntarily. You can't force anybody. You can be the best judge, you can be the best lawyer, you can be the best something. If you don't know about mediation, whatever you do, you will not get the result. At the end of the day, that matter has been fully resolved by the parties who are supposed to be just ordinary people, yet notable in their communities. When we completed the process, we met at a very big football park in that city, and the parties reported the outcome of the mediation, because we, the mediators, were not the owners of the mediation. They, the parties, own the mediation. And so they reported to their community the outcome of the mediation, and so it was a lasting impression in the minds of the people. They accepted it. To date, I haven't heard of anything. I think that the ongoing process is good, but I strongly recommend we don't do mediation with pressure, with force. It's a very simple method that is used. I think that the Tumfo Committee are doing well. If what Victor said is anything to go by, it even scares me, because he's saying that it appears the recommendation, mediators don't write the outcome of a mediation by themselves. It is the parties that you will serve as a secretariat to write and agree to what they want to be implemented in the best interest of the community.
All right.
Maybe the last thing I would like to say is that I will go with the 2 people but mine slightly different. I have recommended it before. Long time, even when when President Kufuor was in office and our friend, the Minister for Education was there, I recommended that we should introduce youth conflict resolution and peer mediation from class 4 to the university level. Is very critical. Otherwise, we will have troubles in this country in the next few years to come that we cannot handle.
All right.
I suggest that the National Peace Council should be strengthened, and they should work together with the Ministry of Education and also with local government, so we can introduce this, including community mediation.
All right, thank you so much. Thank you, Mr. Austin Game, for joining us. And he is an alternative dispute resolution expert. All right, so back into the studio, Francis Ahovi, your final words before you leave.
Yeah, thank you. And I thank you, the co-panelists, because they have actually dealt with the issue. What I want to say is that in terms of, I'll summarize them quickly.
Yes, you can do it in 1 minute for me.
Okay, in terms of the curfew, I think even if they are doing it, they should make sure that they shouldn't call, as they condone the place, meaning that when they use the military or whatever to condone the place, they should use non-lethal approach, meaning that as they are using the force, they should not make it brutal, so that we are trying to save situation, we should not create more problem. And also, I think that to get the people who are actually doing that, apart from the intelligence gathering and other things, I think we have to invest heavily in the AI, the artificial intelligence, getting those cameras that can capture in the night is very important, and drone. So to fight conflict is not a joke. So they have to actually invest heavily in that and educate our people at the end of it. I think we might not see it drastically or solved, but I think it will calm down.
All right. Francis Ahovi, thank you so much for joining us. And he's part of PLOSAC, and they have given 8-point alternatives that government can use to bring peace in Bawku. Let's take a few messages coming in. OPK Patriots Voices Gosto says, regards to Mr. Amankwa Jari Isaac Nkame MPP Bono Regional Organizer and Honorable George Boache, former Ahafo Regional Organizer. Bawku Kumasi Nalarugu SHS, Bawku SHS, burning Honorable Mahama Yariga's house at Bawku, etc. And he did politics with it, with the Bawku conflict in 2024 elections. So he's reaping what he sowed, getting into 2024 elections with innocent peoples being killed in Bawku. So Ghanaians must resist the oppressor's rule by voting NDC out in 2028 for NPP, because this is not the reset they promised Ghanaians. Of course, unfortunately, I want to tell you, OPK, that we do not want to politicize Bawku. So thank you so much, but I'm not going to continue reading it. Nab says that President Mahama should, as a matter of urgency, resolve the Bawku crisis. Things are really getting out of hands. Anyway, very special greetings to Adrian Kessie, John Boedu, National Chairman Hopeful of the New Patriotic Party, and Chairman Divine Otu Agohom, Greater Accra Regional Chairman. All right. Musa Batuaina Sawasa says, I fully support the government's decision to deploy the armed forces with the necessary force to deal decisively with the rising insecurity in Bawku. The situation has escalated beyond control, and those behind the killings of innocent citizens must be treated as enemies of state. Criminals who keep up arms against the nation and those who support them in resources and weapons must be fished out and punished without mercy. Ghana is a peaceful country, and no group should be allowed to hold the entire nation hostage through violence and lawlessness. Good morning, Ajia Roslyn. Bawku crisis. Peace needs more than curfews. President Mahama have been politicized this issue today. You're now the president. When he was in opposition, he even told them he would give them a new region if they voted for him. The Bawku conflict won't be solved by force alone. Honesty, fairness, truthfulness, and forgiveness are the real tools for lasting peace. We must speak the truth about the root causes, treat both sides fairly and respectfully, open, honest dialogue, forgive to move forward. It's not about taking sides, it's about choosing healing over hatred. Bawku deserves peace, not politics. I once lived in Nalarugu where vehicles set off for Tamale at 12 midnight and returned in the evening once in a week. How can this 2 p.m. thing help the people? All right. I'll take just one last message, and let's see if we have to take any other messages. We will do so. Teacher Kujo, NPP Media Communicators, Tepa Ayinswano. I hope the NDC and JDM have learned their lessons. He said that anytime the NPP is in power, the Bawku crisis escalates. So the NDC government would bring peace to Bawku. Must you bring politics into every issue? Now that the NDC is in power, what's happening in Bawku? Instead of coming together to find solutions to this age-old conflict, they took advantage of it, blaming the NPP and Baumia for it. Now they should find a permanent solution to this criminality. Ghanaians to Chairman Odiniho, greetings, okay, to Chairman Odiniho. All right, thank you so much. All right, so I think that'll be all for the messages. I wish I could read more. I have so many messages, and I always say thank you for always sending your messages. Thank you, Francis. Yes, you can take your leave. So, a big thank you to Franco Trading Enterprise for always having our back. Franco Trading Enterprise have all the authentic gadgets you're looking for, whether mobile phones, televisions, CCTV cameras. Don't worry at all, because Franco Trading Enterprise has got you covered. Now, we want to move on to the Mpox conversation, where one person has been reported dead out of Mpox. Now, Mpox has come into the system. It's been here for a while now, and in recent times, about 27 new cases have been recorded where one person has died out of it. Very worrying. And we are being joined by Dr. Joseph Oliver Kome, who is the head of Ghana Center for Infectious Diseases. We all remember when COVID came into being, and it was a world thing. It was a pandemic, okay? We all got scared. We all took care of ourselves. We were asked to use the some people said they were using the gloves. We started with the gloves, I remember very well. We started with the gloves, then went into the sanitizer, went into the nose mask and all of that. We were doing social distancing and all. And then COVID left. We heard about Mpox. Now, as it stands now, in our country called Ghana, we have recorded so many cases with regards to Mpox. We have a total of 257 cases confirmed in Ghana. 23 new cases have also been confirmed. And taking a look at that, one person has died out of Mpox. Not something we must sit down as a country and smile over. We need to do something about it before it becomes a pandemic in Ghana. And so we are going to talk about it. And we have a Dr. Joseph Oliver Kome joining us for this conversation. Good morning, Doc.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. And how are you too?
I'm trying to be fine.
God is in control, Doc.
Thank you.
Great. 23 new cases are being reported. Quite worrisome. What are we doing wrong?
What we are doing wrong is that maybe we stop talking about Mpox time. Maybe it looks as if people are saying that it's just not. So let's about that apartment. So these are the way that it, and that's it.
Doc, if you don't mind, can you please, we are trying to get that, we are not hearing you too well, not too much clarity in what you're saying.
So I'll say that maybe what we think we are doing wrong is that maybe we've taken our eye off the ball a little. When we had a lot of cases, no death, so everybody felt it was just a simple, normal disease. And so maybe we stopped taking the necessary precautions. But maybe after one mortality, we will start looking at things better. I must say that on the whole, we have done some good work. It's unfortunate that we've lost one person, and this morning we want to extend our condolences to the bereaved family.
Yes, we do. Now, also, as we extend our condolences and as we want to do the right thing, we want to take a look at the areas that are being highly affected by Mpox. Can you help us with it?
So currently, we know that there are three regions where we tend to have high cases, mainly in the western region, Greater Accra region, and then the Western North region. So that's where we're concentrating most of our efforts.
And why do we see it there in those regions more than the other regions?
Well, we're still trying to understand the disease pattern in those areas. Maybe also because those areas are actually looking for the cases. It started in those areas. So we must say that they are really advanced in how they look for the cases, highly sensitized. The community is aware, and the community is reporting the cases easily to the health facility. So maybe that's how we are picking up more cases. In other areas, currently about 14 regions are reporting, and 66 districts out of the 261. Also reporting. So yes, there are scattered cases around. But in the areas where they are concentrated, I must say that kudos to the media over there, kudos to the health workers over there. They are actually sensitized, and the patients are coming forward. It's not as if we are going to the communities looking for them. They are presented to the facilities, and we are helping them.
Is government doing enough?
Yes, government has given us all the support that we need to look after. The international community is also helping. Yes, we may not be making too much noise about Mpox, but the work on the ground is actually taking place.
What can one do to prevent themselves from getting Mpox?
So the key thing, one is let us still maintain our hand hygiene. And we as Ghanaians also need to be a little responsible. And this time I'm speaking to those who are infected or affected. If you know you have a rash, the best thing you can do to your fellow neighbor is to cover your rash. And then when you get to the hospital, let us know. One of the key things, we know that it is not everybody that can be managed in the home. As much as possible, some people we need to manage in hospital. So when we are encouraging people to listen to their advice, when we say, let us manage you in hospital, please, we have a reason for saying that. You may be the only person in your house, so you can do home isolation. But there are times when we need to keep people in hospital. And we are appealing to the general public that please listen to the advice, the health workers.
All right. Okay, thank you so much, Doc. But before you go, people will definitely want to know, can there be some policies that could be put in place by government to stop the spread of Mpox?
Well, the key thing is our infection prevention policies that are already in place. From time of COVID, we've all been educated that when you think you have a rash, when you think you have a fever, first thing is maybe you should cover your nose and wear your face mask. So when you see people wearing face masks in times like this, yes, remember we are still in the flu season also. So let us not ask them, why are you afraid of COVID? Let us encourage people who are practicing the policies and encourage all of us to do same.
Thank you so much. But can we ever fight Mpox?
Mpox is here to stay. Occasionally we may have outbreaks, but it's an endemic.
Not a good one to hear, but unfortunately that's what it is. Thank you so much, Doc, for joining us for this conversation. We are grateful.
You're welcome.
And that's Dr. Joseph Oliver Kome, who is head for Ghana Center for Infectious Diseases. And he's told us that unfortunately, Mpox is here to stay. So please take very good care of yourself out there. If possible, we are pleading with you. Your life matters to us. If possible, wear a mask, use your hand sanitizer, and also wash your hands as often as possible. Now, let's move on to our next conversation. And the next conversation is to do with student loans. Student loans. Now, we heard in recent times that some, not student loan, but rather scholarship, pardon me. Some students who are on scholarship abroad, unfortunately, their fees haven't been paid by the government, and they are pleading with the current government to offset those bills so they can write their exams. It's causing depression among some, and of course, it's also causing people to even become suicidal. And so they wrote a letter to President John Dramani Mahama in December, pleading with him to pay for the scholarship fees. But unfortunately, as it stands now, the monies have not been paid. And we are being joined this morning by David Farman, who is a lead advocate for Ghana Scholarship Secretariat Students, University of Bradford. Good morning, David.
Hello, good morning.
How are you?
I've been good. And yourself?
Fine, thank you. Now, in December, you wrote a letter to President Mahama to plead with him to pay the scholarship fees. What's the current standing?
Thank you, and thank you once again for having me on this issue. Yeah, we did write a letter to the president asking for a relook on our situation, but as it stands now, the situation remains the same. And then, as of last week, students who were on the scholarship were not able to graduate as a result of fees not being paid. So that is the current state of the situation.
Okay, so that's the current state. Fees have still not been paid.
Most definitely.
And what is the government saying? Did the government reply to your letter?
Not yet, but we had a delegation from the registrar's office coming to meet the university's representatives and some representatives from the Ghana Student Association, of which I was part of the meeting. So the meeting was quite positive, and we're looking out for a positive outcome, but it is July and there's not been any positive outcome. We're promised that those who are about graduating would have their issues being taken care of, so they would be able to graduate in July. But unfortunately, that promise wasn't lived up to, leaving such students in a very bad situation where they had their colleagues whom they sat in the same class with graduating, where these students were not able to graduate. Basically, they had to stay home, watch their colleagues graduate because their fees have not been paid yet.
Now, since you haven't heard from the government, what's the alternative?
We actually tried to set up a GoFundMe to help the situation, to help reach out to a few stakeholders to help students in the situation, which has not really been successful. But as it stands now, one thing that we are looking forward to doing is trying to have a roundtable meeting where we would meet all students affected in the UK and are on the scholarship secretariat thing. We are looking at meeting all of them for the first time, have a stakeholder engagement, get to know what we want to do, get to know the way forward, and have a voice together going forward. So this is what we are actually having discussions behind the scenes about how we can get every student in the UK who has been affected by this scholarship thing, has not been able to graduate, and is still facing a lot of pressure from the university and other loans institutions of which they've been victims of. So hopefully in August, we'll be able to meet all students in the UK for a stakeholder engagement and a roundtable meeting to know our next action.
Okay, thank you so much for joining us. But before you go, are you still hopeful that the government will pay the money?
To be fair, as it stands now, none of the students actually trust the government in fulfilling that. Because we talk to our colleagues from different universities, University of Memphis, we see students actually doing live videos, seeking funds online, which is very appalling. And one thing that actually discouraged students the most was the fact that we had a registrar who, in his position, was supposed to touch on such salient case, had to make fun of the whole thing with killer entire industry. We felt very, very discouraged because this is a very sensitive issue that relates to international students and the international community at large. So for the leader of such office to actually do a poor PR stance like that, we felt it broke most of us our heart. It broke most students down. It gave them no option than to look for other means to survive. So if you ask me whether I'm hopeful of the government paying, I would say no one across this community of students on this scholarship is looking forward to that being paid. And it will interest you, most students have started paying their fees to survive.
Wow, okay. But do you think this is a politically motivated move?
For the politics of it is something I don't want to go into because for all I know, we are Ghanaian students and these are Ghanaian students who are out there. Government is a continuous process. So as long as it is taxpayers' money and not a political party's money that is supposed to be used to take care of this, I don't want to look at it from a political perspective. But if that game also is being played, I think it's something I don't even want to think about. We just don't want to think about because we feel the government should be more responsive to the situation than rather wanting to look at it from a political perspective.
All right. Thank you so much, David Farman, for joining us this morning.
You're welcome.
We are grateful.
You're welcome. Thank you very much.
All right, and that is David Farman, who is the lead advocate for Ghana Scholarship Secretariat Students, University of Bradford. And he is saying that as it stands now, they will have to pay their own fees because they don't have hope in the government paying their fees. Unfortunately, they wish the government could, but it doesn't look like government will pay the fees. And so we wish them the very best, and they have a GoFundMe page. So if you want to support them, you can go ahead and support them on their GoFundMe page for them to be able to pay and graduate yesterday. He said over the weekend, some students couldn't graduate because they haven't been able to pay their fees. And so support them with a little that you can. We will read a few messages on Facebook, and then we can end. But we want to say a very big thank you to Franco Trading Enterprise for always having our back. Of course, with Franco Trading Enterprise, you can trust the authentic gadgets, whatever things you're looking for, mobile phones, television sets, CCTV cameras, worry no more, because we have got you covered. You can actually download the app on your phone, which is the Franco Trading app, or visit our website, www.francotradingenterprise.com. Franco Trading Enterprise, still and still, phone papa perfie. So a few messages coming in on Facebook. We read them. My name is Jocelyn Felly. Of course, we've been here. Bawku Cr1sis started this. No, Bawku Cr1sis started this. Bawku Cr1sis took over, and then I took over. We'll be having trends that'll be coming your way pretty shortly. So let me read a few messages on Facebook. Teacher, I've done this on WhatsApp already. And so, Abdul Ganiu Mankarigu. Good morning, Aja Roslyn. This is Abdul Ganiu Mankarigu, Savannah region. Bawku Cr1sis, peace. Peace needs more than curfews. President Mahama have been politicized. Okay, I think I did this also on WhatsApp. Now, Wumba Matthew, the people can easily cooperate if they remove the rival chief, Seidu Abugri. We can't kill innocent students in SHS and succeed. Let's keep our peace and understand we are brothers and sisters. Master Planner Junior Kintampo, I think I did this one. Did I or did I not? All right, I think I did this one already. So let's go to Musa Abbaswa. I fully support the government's decision to deploy the armed forces with the necessary force to deal decisively with the rising insecurity in Bawku. The situation has escalated beyond control, and those behind the killings of innocent citizens must be treated as enemies of state. Criminals who take up arms against the nation and those who support them with resources and weapons must be fished out and punished without mercy. Ghana is a peaceful country, and no group should be allowed to hold the entire nation hostage through violence and lawlessness. Atimbila Atsia Baba Jacob, why the security agencies refuse to arrest Seidu Abagri from Kosag traditional area, and there will be total peace. He says, I'm highly disappointed with the president of Ghana. Promiski, we need peace in our country. And Sukolman, I'm following from Morovia. Thank you so much for following. Gordon in Kansas says, we need peace in Ghana. That's what he's trying to say. Okay. Mayala Ayirma Miawu, I hope I got your name right. Please pardon me if I didn't. John Mahama have politicized this issue today. It's your theme. Azia Mate Martin, when NDC is in power, Bawku is at peace. Master Planner says, you didn't read my message. I have read your message, please. Chuzu Joel says, good morning, my joy presenter. Thank you so much. Good morning to you. And this will be all the messages coming in for this morning on Facebook. So thank you all so much for sticking and staying with us. My name is Roslyn Fellier. Good morning to you, Honorable Bawku Cr1sis. Thank you so much for watching us every morning. Unfortunately, I saw your message late, but trust me, I'll be reading your messages very often lately.